Hello. Wow, look at that mess. What's this all about? Just where I'd been digging, it looked nice and neat. But there's method to this. You see, as we've discussed before, I'm doing the wet trenching here. Yeah, so I'm digging in loads of straw and that for my kids' rabbits. So that'll all go under the ground. The ground's all dug over. What's this rubbish? All tyres and everything. I'll tell you. Here is where I'm going to grow my black currants, my jostaberries and my gooseberries. However, the worst thing about these is they're prickly. They're really not fun to weed around. Well, is anything fun to weed around? But these are definitely not fun to weed around. So what I like to do is I like to put down a landscape fabric, and that covers the ground. Once you've dug it, and once you've dug in some humus or something that can hold a bit of moisture, then really what you want to do, if I can move out of the sunshine, it's a bit bright this morning, it's not even here. What you really want to do is cover it up. Now eventually I'll probably put wood chip on top of this, which sometimes you can get for free if it's poor quality stuff, and you only want poor quality on this job. So it's old leyland hedges and everything that's been shredded up. So perhaps you'll find some tree surgeons in the area who are on the way around. You can just say, okay, can you drop me off a lorry load of your old rubbishy stuff, so you don't have to go back to the yard on Friday night and offload it, and they'll probably give you it for nothing. However, you can see I've covered it. I've dug a nice big deep trench all the way around. I've boxed in. You can see more clearly there, boxed in. That means cutting back with a spade, nice straight line, and digging over so there's a drop in level. Now that's because in the path there's an awful lot of things like twitch, which is a ryegrass, which has got very creeping roots, and weeds and nettles. However, the weed roots won't grow out into your plot if they have to go down, 150 mil first. So it kind of slows them up, and it means that you're less likely to have stuff encroach on your plot. However, this plastic is only 2 meters 6 foot wide. It's not a problem because it fits in with my cunning plan. My cunning plan is I will have my jostaberries and my black currants here. Here is going to be my raspberries. Now, raspberries grow from canes that come up from the ground each year, and you need new canes in order to get your new raspberries, your fruit. So I can't put this plastic down on them, it'll stop all the shoots from coming through. However, what I can do is put cardboard, which will give me a year or so, starving the weeds out until it's ready for all the new shoots to come through. And by that time the cardboard would be so rotten and the raspberries so strong they'll push their way through it. So that means I don't have to weed all around my prickly raspberries. So I'll have one raspberry line here, and then here that I'm digging at the minute, you see there's my compost going in, all up here. Sorry about the sunshine, well not really, it's beautiful. All of this will have another strip of this landscape fabric. Now the landscape fabric can be bought online. You can do it quite cheaply online, or you can call in one of the builders tool companies. I'll name a couple like Toolstation or Screwfix, and they have the stuff. Get as good quality for this job as you can. You don't want the really cheap, really thin stuff, because it'll just, well, it just could fall apart on you. This is for the long term. These are going to be cropping for a good 10 years, so I want something that's going to last at least 10 years, and this is a higher quality one, and this will last at least 10 years. The difference between cheap stuff and the more expensive isn't great, so it's wise on this job to go for the more expensive. Yeah, so now you can see I've got all bits of logs down there, the odd brick. That's just to stop it from blowing away, and so are these tyres. Found them on the plot next door, at least my kids did, so they'll do for now for this. Once the plants are growing, obviously, because if you look down, here's where I've made a little hole, only need to make the holes roughly less than about 30 centimeters across. You can see them, there's a line of them there, you can see them all up the paper. I do them with a piece of pipe and I warm it up with a blowtorch, but you can snip it. It's just it makes a neater job if I do that way. But the holes are in there. Now the next Grojo, or the Grojo after that, I'm going to show you how to plant your black currants. Now I've got some black currants at home that I moved when I moved house. So they've been there a year. They're very tangly, very wide, quite big, not very productive from where they're growing. So these will now go in here. If you look around my plots, you can see I'm bordered by hedges all the way around. That's not a problem for soft fruit. What they do is they like it moist. You want those berries to swell up nicely through the summer. The last thing you want is a dry bit of ground, because as you probably know, raspberries and black currants, they just don't crop on really dry ground. So this is going to be good. It's dug over well. Other than planting the black currants, I shall keep off it. And if you see, my students will tell you, what is that standing up on my plot? Yes, it's my rake. Oh, it's a very big rake. It's bigger than normal. However, I'm standing it up. Most important, always stand your rake up. If I walk into it, well, I'm very silly. But if I put it down on here, it almost disappears. And then I stand on it, and this old musical joke ceases to become a joke. It will break your cheek muscles. It could take your eye out. So be careful with rakes. If you're not using it, stand it up. Never leave it anywhere. Anyway, enough of that. You can see what I'm doing. Oh, the compost. The compost is all barely composted, to be honest. It's a bit of hay from the rabbits, a bit of vegetable peelings. It's been around a few weeks. Still going for wet trenching. And the reason why it's good for wet trenching is because I want this soil, which isn't bad, but yours could be a lot worse. And if it's heavily mineral, if it's very clayey and sticky, as soon as you start walking on it in between all your soft fruit, you start to make the ground very sad. You knock the air out of it. It's like pastry then, and to be honest, the things don't grow quite as well. So you really want to put something down there that stops it from, you know, from becoming completely air excluding. Something that will allow the air and the moisture and the worms to get through the soil, and it gives them a reason to get through the soil. And of course the paper, cardboard, well, every week we go to the supermarket, I buy my shopping, I put it in a cardboard box, I take it home, and quite often I leave it out the front of the house for the recycling man to take away. What better way of recycling it than to use it like this, because it's completely compostable. The only trouble is you put too much in one thick layer, it doesn't compost very well. Okay, that's it for my Grojo today. You've not had to see my ugly face at all, and I'll probably see you on your lessons. So, Vince is signing out.